Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And we're here to talk about a film that I saw back in the theater back in 2004. I had a good time seeing it. I saw this one with my brother, along with my dad, for I remember my dad back in the day. So, and I had a good time seeing the film. And it's a film that stars Will Smith. Now, with Will Smith, I don't think this film. For a film that stars Will Smith, I don't think it doesn't get talked about as much. I don't think, but I'm sure some people do. But I think it deserves just a bit more attention. I think it was a pretty fun film, and that is of I, Robot. It was released in the summer of 2004, directed by Alex Proyas. Mispronounced the name, but this is the guy who directed a film called Dark City, which I like. The Crow, with the one with Brendan Lee. And I sad about that film, but then he directed with Nicolas Cage called Knowing, about that apocalyptic prophecy from that time capsule they dig up, all these catastrophic happenings. And then before he directed this film, and then he directed Gods of Egypt from a few years ago now. Didn't see it, but the trailer looked like crap anyway. So, but I like The Crow. I like Dark City. I think I remember not minding Knowing. I think I have to rewatch it, Knowing though. But I definitely enjoy I, Robot. It was a fun sci-fi film with Will Smith. Will Smith, he plays a guy named Spooner. He is a cop in Chicago in the future, in the year 2035. And the plot is fairly simple, and he's a guy who, there are robots in this world. Well, they're called NS. Well, before these models here, they're called, the ones before them were called NS4s, and he's a guy. He doesn't like robots because for a little reason for the backstory on that was he was in an accident, a car crash, and there was also this girl that was also got into a car crash as well, another car, and a robot saved him instead of saving her, because he was a logical choice, more survival. So, more reason why he doesn't trust robots, because they're, like what he says, not here. They're just lights and clockwork, so he doesn't trust robots because not human enough, and so. He's a guy who does not like robots. Now he goes to the headquarters of the robots, USR, US Robotics, and to investigate the apparent suicide of this guy named Dr. Lanning, played by James Cromwell. They say that he killed himself, and there was a message left for Spooner, and which is it's a holographic image of James Cromwell message. Like there are certain questions he has to answer because his responses are limited. And then before that, he meets with Bruce Greenwood, who is, like I said, like the richest guy in the world. Is also the head of USR Robotics, and which Bruce Greenwood, he's been in a few movies I reviewed. So, but you would recognize him though. But I like Bruce Greenwood. He's a good actor. So he talks with him, and right, but I was waiting for a yawn to come up. And you get some funny lines, like. It's not humor that's not too hammered in, if you get what I mean. It's just light humor, like little sprinkles of light humor. Like, first of all, like when they were talking, and like he has some coffee, and he's like, sugar for the coffee. Oh, you thought I was calling you sugar? No, 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 no. You're not that rich. And then look, another one was like where it's like, to Bruce Greenwood, like, I have an idea for a commercial. Like, you have this guy who's trying to make a chair, and then a robot comes in trying to make the chair much faster. It's like USR, what was it like? USR robotics, like shitting on the little man. So, it's like little sense of humor like that. It's nothing has to do with nothing like piss jokes or fart jokes, nothing of that nature. Thank goodness, it's not in the film like this. So, but anyway, what was it? And then after he goes into talks with our other lead female scientist named Calvin, played by Bridgette Moynahan. Mispronounce her name, but I didn't realize they're watching this again and looking up afterwards. She's the one who's actually plays John Wick's deceased wife in the John Wick movies. So I didn't even completely forgot about it, because I probably didn't recognize her in the John Wick movies, so. But yeah, she actually plays Keanu Reeves' deceased wife in the John Wick movies. But in here, she was, in this film, as I watch it again, I mean, she's not terrible, but I thought she was alright for the character. But I just think it was just like, her character to me is just like, So I'm not like okay on this character, but not don't care for her. But she talks about the these sensors things, which is leaked the whole thing to the USR, Vicky, and they go inside of James Cromwell's room, and then meets with the new NS 5. And it was NS5 robot pops up and holds the gun at him, runs away, meets at this factory where all the NS5 models are there, and saying that he's the one who killed Dr. Lanning, but saying that it's impossible because the robots have these 3 laws. The first one that robot cannot harm, injure, or kill a human being. Second law is like a robot must obey an order by a human, and then the third one can if a robot can defend itself if it doesn't conflict to the first or second law, basically. So, but it's impossible because a robot cannot kill. And after Sonny is caught, that's what his name is, Sonny. He's actually voiced by the motion capture and voiced by Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk, has been lots of other movies, like for voicing, but other appearances in other films. Like he played Steve the Pirate in Dodgeball, but I also remember he played Tucker, Tucker and Dale versus Evil, which I really enjoyed that movie a lot. It was a fun comedy horror film. So Alan Tudyk, he was a lot of fun in that movie. I love Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That deserves to get talk more. But he's been in a variety of other films as well as voicing as well. He's been a lot. You can just look up. He's been in a lot of movies. Well, especially also doing Serenity, the which is a spin-off the show Firefly with Nathan Fillion. So he's been in a lot of other movies. So he not only he voices Sonny, but does the motion capture as well. So and he did a good job as Sonny. So he's the one that has he's this NS5 that has emotions and he has dreams. Like when he's being interrogated, when Will Smith was saying, humans don't have emotions. He's saying he was frightened. They don't feel fear. And Sonny's like, I did not murder him. And he's like, I did not murder him! And then Will Smith's like, that one's called anger. So, and then when Will Smith goes to Dr. Lang's like his big house, and then he's just like looking around. There's a cat there, and then there's this demolition robot, which is supposed to destroy the mansion in the morning, but it reprograms itself to do it later in the night, which is like right now. Starts destroying the house, which is like a good little bits of a good sequence, like a mix of practical stuff, like people not people, like the building is falling down, a lot of practical stuff that's falling down all around Will Smith. Well, of course, the CG happens too, though, but a lot of it seems like it's all falling down all around him. And then he saves the cats as well. And then he goes back to feast with Dr. Calvin. It's like, what happened to you? Don't you ever have a normal day? Yeah, once. It was a Thursday. He's like, did a cat do that to you? It's like, how the hell did the cat do this to me? Are you crazy? And talks more about sorry. Then she talks about a little bit more about Dr. Lanning. Then she has her own little NS5 with him because soon like they're gonna put everyone in every home, and they want to talk with his grandma who just got an NS5 as well, and then you get to another part where which I thought that the sequence was, I think it was still pretty good for most of it, but there's some of the CG enhancements. I mean, I know this is back from 2004, but sometimes this CG can hold up, but sometimes it cannot. But I think the CG, like this whole sequence, is tolerable, so I can let that slide. Which is quite funny is that he's in his car on this highway, and he's like the only one there. I mean, how is it funny that like, well, it's not funny, but like how he's like the only one on this driving all by himself on this highway? But I never understood, So he's like all by himself on this highway until like those large USR vehicles show up, and the robots, they're like the red light turns on, and he's like, "There's no way my luck is that bad." And when he sees the light turn on, he's like, "Oh hell no!" One jumps in the car and says, "You're experiencing a car accident." And it's just like fighting all these robots, and at one point where he makes the car spin, all the orbs are flying off, and everything crashes and burns, and the car flips over. So, and then there's one left. He tries to fight it hand to hand and gets a pipe, and then the robot has it and just hits his arm, but he has a robotic arm, which is, get into more about the story I told you about the crash from the beginning. So he fights it, and then when the police show up, the robot commits suicide. Basically, he goes and jumps in the fire. So his lieutenant suspends him, and then when Dr. Calvin looks at Sonny more, there's more newer designs than the other NS5, so he's a very unique robot. And then when he goes to Will Smith's place, and then it's where she notices his whole arm. So his entire left arm has been replaced with a robotic arm, and Dr. Lanning, James Cromwell, put that in himself. That's how he knew Will Smith. And he tells her the story about what happened to the girl, and how he lost his arm as well, and tells about why he doesn't trust the robots. And he tells about what Dr. Lanning, he leaves a trail of breadcrumbs, with the story of Hansel and Gretel, to clues, for Will Smith, for him to find. And so they go back to the USR building, talk with Sonny again, and tells him we had dreams before, and Sonny draws him a picture of his dream. Like all the robots are staying in a group together, and this one person on the hill. And then talks with Bruce Greenwood some more, and where they're talking, which Wilson goes like, I'm sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit, which I think I started said this a few times, like a couple of videos, like a while back before. If that was a line I've said it before in some videos a while back, that was the line I was referencing for. It was for this movie. I'm sorry, I'm allergic to bullshit. Probably because I've sneezed sometimes in the video by accident, though. But probably because I was reviewing a bad film, probably. But yeah. So. But that was still funny too. And then they want because they wanted to decommission Sonny, turn him off basically forever. And Wilson goes to the place where his dream was, part of the broken bridge, and looks on the horizon where the robot's supposed to be, and he plays back there the holographic recording of James Cromwell, talks to him again. But asks him different questions, like, is there a problem with the 3 laws? The 3 laws are perfect. Then why would you build a robot that can function without them? The 3 laws can only lead to one logical outcome. What? What outcome? Revolution. Whose revolution? That, detective, is the right question. So, and then he notices all the NS5s are destroying the older robots. And so he gets on his motorbike, gets out of there, and all the robots are now taking over the town. And I've probably mentioned but Shia LaBeouf, he has a little small role in this as well. Which he was in the beginning of the film for one scene with talking Will Smith, and then appears later to right now when the robots are taking over. So we have Shia LaBeouf, and he's not in that much. He's only for the one scene at the beginning, and then 2 scenes for this one where that part where the robots are taking over and he starts to fight the robots, and that's it. And I know how Shia LaBeouf nowadays, I've probably said before, but Shia LaBeouf nowadays is just... It's a shame though, but I still like. The films I've seen him in, I still like Shia LaBeouf though. Like from the 4th Indiana Jones film, the Eagle Eye, and then Constantine. I liked him in Constantine, and of course, when his appearance in the Transformer films. Well, I love Disturbia. But the Transformer films is a different story, but Disturbia I enjoy. So, but he was only in this for a little bit, so. And so they get the whole townspeople start to fight the robots, but they all run away, and he gets caught by a robot, and he's like, Shia LaBeouf's like, you can kiss my ass, metal dick. And then I thought I was gonna go see where Will Smith, he's on his bike, and then takes out his guns, does a shoot in slow-mo. And also another thing, there's certain scenes in action slow-mo. It works fine, it does. Certain things for the action parts are in slow-mo, but I thought it worked fine. Like, of course, he slowly gets out his guns and boom, boom, and saves Shia LaBeouf. He's like, stop cussing and go home. So they get then they go back to the building, they get inside, and they find Bruce Greenwood dead, and they find out that Will Smith puts together that Vicky's the one who's behind all this. And I like to see where Sonny pretends he's like on Vicky's side, where he holds Calvin at gunpoint. And then I liked when because he saw what Will Smith did earlier when he was being interrogated. He saw Will Smith wink to him, to the other guy, the lieutenant, and he does the same things like, I will not intend to harm Dr. Calvin. He does the wink to Will Smith, which I liked because picked up where a sign of trust basically. So I did like that, and then they shoot the other robots there, and Sonny's gonna get the nanites to kill Vicky. And he does a couple of good, say a couple of badass moments with something. He destroys a couple of robots. Like for one, when he gets to the lab, he throws one against his force field, like cuts him right in half. And then when he gets to these two other ones at hallway, where he crushes one's head and then punches one in the back of the head. And then they get on top of the top of the building where where Will Smith and the other woman, Bridgette Moynahan, it's the very top, and then they see that the robots climb the building like spiders basically, and it's like, how long is this gonna take? About 6 minutes. What if we didn't have 6 minutes? Wilson's like, because I seriously doubt we have 6 minutes. So, and only though he's just shooting more left and right, and at one point he rips one's neck out, and he jumps one from one platform to the other. He's doing this. Shh. And but the woman's fallen, and Will Smith tells us Alan Tudyk to save Calvin, save the girl, which he does, and the scene where he grabs the nanites and Will Smith, he's falling down. He uses his robotic arm to grab the part of the brain part, and he's just really holding it as he's sliding down. It's like, because it won't hurt him as much because he has a robotic arm. And then Vicky's like, "You're making a mistake. My logic is undeniable." He says, "You've so got to die." Injects it in it, destroys her, and all the other robots, the NS5s, they return back to normal. Yeah, they all go back to like how their original function is. Like, can we be of service? Like that, and then just was like, "Sonny, Calvin's fine. Save me." And then more explained that where Sonny said that with Dr. Lang, James Cromwell, he made Sonny to make a promise, swear before he even told what he had to do, and he told him to kill him. So he had to make him swear a promise before he had to before he was told what to do. So he was sworn in before he told to kill Dr. Lanning. And it's like, "Are you going to arrest me now, detective?" Well, DA says that murder is for one human killing another, so technically you can't commit murder, can you? And then they shake hands on it. And then it ends with Sonny, like recreating, he's the one standing on the hill, like that person in his dream. He's the one standing on the hill while all the robots are looking up to him. As the camera pans out as the whole thing recreates the whole image of his dream. So, yeah, but iRobot, I still enjoy the movie. It was still a fun, entertaining film. Will Smith does a great job as Detective Spooner. And Bridgette Moynahan, I think she still was okay, but I think she was not great though. But for her character overall, I think she was just there. Just some of the, I'm probably not a big fan anyway. She was just there. But Bruce Greenwood I like. James Cromwell, he was fine as well. Shia McBride, who plays the lieutenant, he was okay as well. Alan Tudyk, who plays Sonny, I think he did a really good job. The direction by Alex Proyas, I thought he was fine as well. He did a good job with the film. Says it's suggested by Isaac Asimov's book, which I've never heard of though. Back then, I haven't heard of it. The score by who did the score yet? But Marco Beltrami, which I know of. I've did some things about the guy who did the score for other films that I reviewed. Just to recap, he did the scores for the Scream films of The Faculty. Yeah, that was one of them. He did the scores for The Faculty, Blade 2, Terminator 3, Hellboy. World War Z. Yeah, he did Gods of Egypt as well. The Shallows, A Quiet Place. So yeah, he's did some films on a lot of scores on a lot of films. So, but I enjoy I, Robot. It's still a fun, entertaining film. It was a good thing I saw this back in the day. It was back in 2004. So now it's been going on 15 years. So yeah. Yeah, so hey, 15 years. Hey, a 15th anniversary review. There you go. Yeah, 2004, 2019, 15 years. But I still enjoy the film. It's a film that's, I would say, under the radar for Will Smith's films. But for features has an audio commentary with the director and screenwriter Akivia Goldsman, which he's done. Akivia Goldsman has been a writer for a lot of films as well, so I know that name too. Then there's a making of featurette. Now, when it came out, the film was given mixed reviews. It was given a 7. It does have a 7.1 on IMDb, but it has a 56 rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It was given mixed reviews though, but box office wise, it was a success at the box office. Was a budget of 120 million. Domestically, it made 140, and worldwide about 300 and how much? 300 and what? Yeah, 300, almost 350 million worldwide. So it did pretty good at the box office during that summer. But as a positive things like for New York Post says an intelligent, crowd pleasing, and sharp looking blockbuster, and the Chicago Tribune says a high tech thriller with eye popping visual effects. Which, yeah, the effects from back in 2004, especially for the robots, I think it's still tolerable to me. I know some CGI in this film does not hold up, though, but it's tolerable, but I can let it pass. I think this film was nominated for an Oscar for Best Effects as well, so, yeah. But Will Smith, he was the highlight of the movie. He did a really good job as Detective Spooner, and Alan Tudyk as well as Sonny. But I still have this very, very entertaining film. And I think it deserves to be talked more, especially for a film that stars Will Smith, for compared to his other films. So yeah, I'll definitely give it a thumbs up. So that's my review on iRobot. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next movie review later. And if you haven't seen this film, check it out. I would recommend you seeing it for a watch. Anyway, thanks for watching, and see you on the next review.